Hi, self-care isn't sexy, right? It's not the side of business that we think about when it comes to like going to networking events because when we go there, we're looking to meet new people. We're looking to like get the next greatest thing that's going to help us with our business. But it's essential that you do this, that you actually have self-care really dialed in to your daily practice to support yourself in your life and your business. So, through the self care tools that you use. But what does that even look like? Hi, my name is 𝐒𝐞𝐥𝐟, and I am a self care specialist for female entrepreneurs and professionals who need to incorporate more self care into their life and business so that they stay sharp, focused, and wake up with more energy and intention to tackle their daily activities with confidence. It's important for self care. And I will come on here and I will shout it from the mountaintop over and over again about the importance of self care, especially when you're in business, even when you're in a corporate environment. If you don't take care of yourself, you are not going to show up as the best version you. And so I really believe that it's important that you take care of your daily self care, whatever that looks like for you. Remember, this isn't about what everybody's doing. This has got to be tailored directly to you, to your lifestyle. I always believe that anything that we do in life, it has to match who we are. We have to feel good about it. It has to really become a part of our lifestyle that really makes sense and feels good to us. So someone else's self-care practice might sound great to you and it works well for them, but it just might not fit into your lifestyle and it's okay. But it's important. It's also important that you not only have self-care tools that are soft, like music and reading. I call those soft self-care tools, like music and reading, even meditation, taking your bubble baths in the middle of the day, taking a nap, mani pedis, and treating yourself to a fancy dinner or buying yourself something special. But that you also have the essential self-care tools. Now, these are the things I think that most people aren't thinking about when it comes to self-care because they think self-care is, oh, taking the break during the day and going and having lunch with friends, doing something fun. Those are all good, right? Getting your hair done, getting a mani pedi, getting a massage, taking a nap, having a bubble bath, the meditation, reading, listening to music, getting up and dancing. These are all things that make you feel good, right? But the essentials, these are things that you really need because these are going to help you not only with your emotional, but your physical well being, maybe even your spiritual well being. So, making sure that you have things like saying no, like learning to say no and not filling your calendar with things that, you're overextending yourself. I've talked to many women, I've been doing some market research, and of late, what I have been finding is one of the typical responses is that, oh, I'm good because I've been able to move through my daily tasks, no problem at all. I don't feel like I don't have the energy. I have the energy. But what's happened to a lot of these women is they found that now that they've got all these extra things that are happening, their lifestyle has gotten even busier, crazier, bigger than it was before because they're excited about what they're doing. They're building something spectacular. Is that they found themselves at this place where it's too much. Maybe it is due to overwhelm. Maybe it is because they haven't learned to say no and they're saying yes to everything and overwhelming their calendar, overextending themselves, and they're starting to feel burnt out. Or maybe they're just confused and now they don't even know what to do. In fact, I spoke to someone who even said that they had to actually take one of their income generating activities and stop it because it was just too much. Now, I don't know about you, but when you actually have to turn down money, that's a really big sign that you need to start taking care of yourself, learning to say no and not overwhelming yourself, learning to delegate and ask for help. I get it because I'm a self-professed perfectionist. So I get it. I know what that feels like when you are in the middle of something, it's really personal to you, and you're trying your best to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, and it's your baby. But when you are trying to do all of the things all by yourself, and like I said, maybe you've overwhelmed your calendar, you've said yes to so many things, you've got all these projects that you're trying to do, you're trying to maybe launch a new program, you've got a whole bunch of new things that you're involved with. And what you end up doing is that you start to like break down. And so if you allow yourself to ask for help, meaning even if it's only going so far as to say, look, this is what I'm doing, but I feel a little bit stuck in this spot, not quite sure. Talking it through to someone else, with someone else that's not in it with you, gets a fresh perspective. And why is that so powerful? Because they are not in it. It's like going to someone for like someone like your bestie. You're having some kind of like issues with, how you feel about yourself, and you go to them. They're not feeling that same way, so they're able to help you move through that. It's the same thing when you're asking for help. It's getting a fresh set of eyes on what it is that you're asking about, but it's also being able to delegate. This saves time, the most valuable commodity that we have. And if we learn to be able to say, you know what, I'm not only going to ask for help, I'm going to look for someone that can help me with what I'm doing. But that also means that you have to have clarity on what it is that you be passing off. So, because you want to make sure that you're not disappointed with the end result if you do give that to someone else, and you don't want to be you don't want them to be disappointed or feel bad that they're not giving you what you want, and they're not confused by it. So, having absolute clarity, of course, as best as you can. And by the way, done is better than perfect. Allow yourself to ask for help, allow yourself to actually delegate, save yourself some time so you can move on to other things, and you're not overwhelmed, right? You're not overwhelmed with all of these things that you have to do. It's why I keep blowing the horn from the top of the mountaintop to get your attention, so that you don't end up like so many women who find themselves forced to look at their self-care or lack thereof, to forced to actually pare back their activities, having to like say no to a lot of things because they just can't see it in their mind at the time to actually say yes to it, because it just seems so overwhelming, because they've gotten to this place. And why? Because they ignored the signs that their bodies were and their minds were telling them. Because especially if you're that type of person, and I used to be that way until, as I've gotten older, I've found that it's not like that for me anymore. I'm not able to like bounce back quickly from things. I have to take more rest. But I get it if you're in the moment and you think, oh, I got to just push through 5 more minutes, and that you stretch it out, and it becomes this bigger thing, and you're taking so much time to be in things without actually taking care of you. You're not taking the breaks. You're not allowing your nervous system to regulate itself again, to calm itself and to regulate itself. You're not allowing your brain to unwind when you're doing that, and you're not doing yourself any good service by keeping at something just to get it finished, right? And especially if you're stuck and you think, oh, I just got to push it, but you're not really satisfied with what the outcome was, and you could have avoided that as well by asking for help and getting a new perspective. These are actually essential self-care tools that I'm talking about. Asking for help, learning to say no, delegating it out, and protecting your time, even setting boundaries. Not only setting boundaries around yourself, around your time, especially when it comes to your business and it comes to family time, but it's also not only holding those people accountable or those circumstances accountable, but it's also holding yourself accountable, that if you set boundaries that you honor for yourself, that you honor them as well. So again, these are really essential self-care tips that I'm talking about. And it's really is common sense, but I think it's because we get into the doing of things. We get so caught up in life. We get so busy that we just don't allow ourselves to take a moment to take that much needed break. So, does it serve you to schedule back-to-back meetings that are stacked with a project in the morning and an afternoon deadline, leaving no room for breaks, just pushing through? And if you're someone who's used to pushing through without breaks, is that helping yourself or harming yourself? When one day you wake up exhausted or overwhelmed or confused as to why you feel like you just can't do it anymore. Something has to change, and you find yourself saying no to opportunities, cutting back on your calendar, maybe letting go of something that's been a source of income for you because it's just taking up time that you're now desperately trying to protect. Will you just keep pushing through, hoping that for you, you're going to be fine? And are you willing to bet your life and your business on it? And the reason why I say it that way is because, I've even had conversations with women that have ended up getting sick because they pushed themselves beyond the limit. They ignored the signs because they were really busy. Now, someone I know who's really a pretty amazing woman, we talked during one of her workshops yesterday. She talked about how if you just have to push through and there's nothing that you can do about it because it's something you have already said yes to, is setting yourself up ahead of time for those moments in time that may actually change due to circumstances out of your control and that you're kind of ready for. And so that could be different for everyone. But one of the things she talked about was somebody, having a workshop where there are guests that couldn't appear, they couldn't attend due to other circumstances for themselves. And if they'd been prepared and said, you know what, let me send you this video series just as a plug-in, and we will reschedule this amazing event at a later date. That could have saved that person a lot of heartache mentally and emotionally, as well as then she would have been prepared to give to her people something of value that would have helped them through that day, which was scheduled, right? So it's just like I said, it's about really being consciously aware that self-care is essential to you. It's not sexy, but it's essential for your emotional, physical, and your spiritual well-being. And it's important that you start paying attention, especially to the signs that your mind and your body are sending your way. Otherwise, they're going to start screaming at you, and that's the day when you will find yourself having to stop and take a look because you've now allowed yourself to get to that burnout or sick. So, like I said, self care isn't sexy, but your life and your family depend upon you to take care of you the best that you can. Because when you take care of yourself really well, you get the best of you, and so does everyone and everyone else, everything else in your life. I hope that you guys are having an amazing Friday. I'm so happy to be back on live. It has been a while, but I am back and I'm excited and looking forward to doing more videos just like this. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, a fantastic weekend. Make sure that you connect with your loved ones. Don't always just be all about work. Make sure you do some fun things. And I am looking forward to seeing you again soon. All right, then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.